Welcome all to today's video. L319 to L320 TDV8 swapped from the L320 into the L319. Obviously L319 being a Disco 3, L320 being your Rangerover Sport. Getting around the central locking, and I'll zoom out a little bit so you can see a bit better. Getting around the central locking issue. So obviously we have, when you lock it, it beeps, and we also have obviously ace light and any other lights which may appear on the dashboard. You'll have to change CCF files. However, you change CCF files to Disco 3 on your Gap IID tool, and it will practically brick the car. You will not be able to drive the car, you will not be able to proceed or anything. And well, yes, you won't be able to, your tailgate will work basically, but you won't actually be able to operate the tailgate full stop. Now MDRS, as everyone knows them, they have fucking researched it for however many years they've done it now, and they have made it so that you make a one-off file for the car. However, not everyone wants to make a one-off file for the car. Not everyone has the time or the money to spend on tools to get the data and to make a file and whatnot. So this is the easy way about it, without having to put your ignition onto ignition 2. So when you press lock, all the doors lock as they should. When you press unlock, all the doors unlock. You don't have to put the key in the ignition, and you can pull your door handle and it opens. This is brought to you by County 4x4. Obviously, without the help from them, this build would never have happened. So massive thank you to them. Obviously, we are Land Rover specialists, and we do body offs and engine swaps, and we do racing as well. As you can see there, there's a race car, and this is one of our projects. But this is for you DIY enthusiasts who don't want to put the key in the ignition, turn the key to first click to pull it, to do a set of relays. This is basically doing a flip. So as you know, when you fit your engine, you fit your BCU, you fit all your wiring and whatnot, your lower tailgate works. You lock on the central locking, lower tailgate locks. Upper tailgate, however, no matter what you do, doesn't lock or unlock. You have to mess about for ages, especially if you shut your boot before you lifted the body off and whatnot. It's a pain in the ass. No one wants to have to faff about with it. No one wants to have to faff about for 3 months trying to figure out and how to do it, and then end up figuring it out himself. So I've spent the last 3 months of this car on the road with no working tailgate. So today I'm going to spend the next probably 20 minutes of this. I don't have a clue how long this video is going to be, but I'm going to spend the next however long showing you guys on how to basically reverse it. So that tailgate, so the car now thinks that tailgate is that tailgate, if that makes any sense. So it's thinking it's working that tailgate, but in reality it's working that tailgate. You're basically swapping it all around, and then you're going to do your relay for the upper tailgate on the lower tailgate. So, but you're going to put a constant power to it instead of an ignition live, which will mean as soon as you open it, you can press the lower one without having to have the key in the ignition, and that should drop. So this is how you do it. You've got to take the wiring up to this switch here. As you can see, I've cut it and I've sourced. There is the white with grey, the black with a grey streak. That fires the tailgate mechanism. Take from this sensor here, chop the wire, loop it, chop the wire. As you can see, you've got your wires. Make sure they are colour coded. They are colour coded. One's black with purple streak. Make sure they're the right way around, or else it will not work. Disconnect it here. We'll figure this out in a minute. I'm still figuring it out. I'm pretty sure I've got it I'm pretty confident that it is going to work 110%. If the video's up, it has worked. If the video's not up, it hasn't worked. Simple word for it. You won't see the video anyway if it wasn't fucking up, dickhead. Anyway, you want these wires to be cut. So Don't worry about them, fuck them off. Save your plugs. Chop enough access off to be able to reuse your plugs, because you're going to reuse all this anyway. You're going to use your plugs, you're going to use your plug there. I'm hoping I can find a place middle somewhere I can cut relay in here, blah 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 blah, and then just be able to go press the button and fire both of them. You won't get in a robber come in, stick a rod up and press that button. Regardless, the upper tailgate will be locked. But what this is for is if you've got a bag full of shopping, you can walk up, press the unlock button, the wife or the boyfriend, whoever, can grab hold of the door, lift the upper tailgate without having to go to the ignition, turn the ignition onto first key, and then fuck about with the door. This is simple, how it should be from day one, basically, without having to change the CCF files, and still being able to, if you're like me, be able to go into the CCF files, change what you want, put a locking rear diff under it if you want, or change CCF files inside and turn the screen on or off, or do what you want with it basically, and not have a permanently locked CCF file you cannot do anything with, and being unhappy when you're 3 years down the line and you've got yourself a new accessory and you fit it and it doesn't work because you can't access it through the CCF files on your GAP ID. As I'll say, all good things come to an end. So one day there'll be someone, the people will stop doing these, you'll still have one, and someone won't make a CCF file for it because it'll be, that is the worst case scenario if they last that long. They should last that long. They last fucking years as they are. Anyway, let's get down to business. I'll be back with you in a minute once I've wired the upper tailgate in, which will be 2 seconds. So far, you've got, it's this wire here. You see this coloured wire here? It's that one you want to cut. I've got 2 core, but it will be single core. Run down to this wire. Hang on, it's here, down here. Let's go. Right, guys, here we go. So, there's a lock here. See, latch is in position. I'm not shutting the tailgate fully because I haven't wired the bottom in just yet. So I will show you how to do that in a minute. But for the first start, we have successfully done it. We have managed to be able to make that tailgate, all without changing CCF files. So now all we need to do is make this a permanently powered tailgate. So when you come along, you go beep, it goes and drops down as you should. And this upper one, as I said, locks, unlocks as it should. So we see what happens. Lock. You hear the horn going off. We have to still bridge that wire under the dashboard. So pull this and you can hear now, look, doesn't work. However, press unlock. You see, unlock again. And you ready? And that should, yeah, I'm doing this one-handed, remember guys, so you can't. There you go, beautiful. Look at that. So that actually works when you lock it now. It works. When you unlock it, it works. That's the upper tailgate fettled. You don't have to mess with it anymore. It's just time to relay the lower tailgate, which is dead easy. You just need a relay, some wiring, a positive, negative, and a signal. And we are good to go. So let's get on to business with the actuator 1 and actuator 2, which we will be finding the plug again. Obviously we'll be plugging this one back in here, just like that. And then we'll be finding the wires which come up here somewhere, snip, wires up from there, piece of 2 core up to here. That can go, we'll need 1 earth, which this is your earth. I've cut the sent signal away, so we've got a constant earth here. We'll run that constant earth straight to that, so all we have to do is go power, 12 volt, 2 powers, and then literally to a relay. And that would be a better version of MDRS, perfected, as I say again, by County 4x4. It's been a long time since I made a video on YouTube. So, about half an hour later, here we go. Lock. Horn still beats because I haven't done the BCM bypass yet, but you go up to the tailgate. That's locked, you see, it doesn't work. Unlock it. You have to unlock it twice, obviously. And that up it goes. Beautiful. Look at that. You didn't think you could do that without having put the key in the ignition. To make it even better now. Exactly like that. And it all locks. And it's all on the key. And you don't have to mess about. Obviously we're going to have to tidy this wiring up, but I've done it for quickness to show you in the video because daylight's fading. But this is your wiring. So you got your relay, which is now taped in. I've tidied it up a little bit. It's not perfect, but it'll do. There's going to be a cover over it anyway. No point in having it all taped up and looking pretty because you ain't going to see it. Purpose holds it all in, doesn't jiggle around. Tighten that down, plugged in down there. For your relay, save your wire which goes up for there's obviously a signal wire for here. Save that wire because you're going to use it to go because you won't get a wire through that. You will not get a wire through that. I've tried, you won't get it through. So wire in, you'll have your wire here. You see that little red one there? And that goes in, and that joins up to a link point here, which goes down to 2 points, and that is literally for power for the signal. Well, not for the signal. What you're doing is an earth. It's an earth setup. So flash of an earth here. Works, and all it is literally an on off button. You can literally hold it on. Hold it on as many times as you want. However, you've got purple trace that goes down to a link wire. Same with that side, purple trace. Both purple traces to one wire, and that's from one side of your positive. So you've got an in, which is like that. You've got an out, which is like that. You've got two signals on the relay. So it goes line, 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 and then you've got line. Positive, negative, positive, positive. Negative switch, positive. So this is your line, this is your line, line, line on a 4-point relay. Negative, positive, 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 positive out, positive in, positive live constant, switchable earth. That's all you need to do for it to work. And just run your wiring wisely through that. Use as much original wiring as possible. And I went to a fuse there, as you can see, fuse 15, which is constantly live for your trailer lights. Fantastic. As you can see, all works without the key and the ignition. Thank you for watching this video on how to wire up the TDV8 Disco 3 tailgate for it to work on central locking without any massive issues. Obviously brought to you today by the Rangerover Maniac, twinned with County 4x4, Congleton, Cheshire.